Is Linux evil? You won't believe this, but Facebook bans Linux, labeling it a cybersecurity threat. What the heck is going on? Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much once again joining me for tea time. Today, we have a little bit of misty morning and focus combination. That bergamot, so good. I hope you're joining me with your cup of tea, maybe a cup of coffee, hanging out, talking tech, talking photo, talking video. Today is a technology day. We're going to be talking about Facebook, we're going to talk about a ban, and most importantly, we're going to be talking about Linux. Like I said in last week's JC Live, I said, you know what, I'm going to talk about Linux more. Well, this is not exactly how I want to do it, but it is what it is. I have to report on this. This happened about a week ago, and I wanted to wait just a little bit to see how things kind of play out, and everything's still the same. They haven't changed anything. They haven't walked it back. Anyways, yes, there's a ban on Linux over there on Facebook. And what's really strange about this whole thing is that the reason why 80% of the internet runs on Linux is because it's stable. Its stability is second to none. It's reliable. It is secure, cost effective, and of course, it's highly customizable. But one of the most important things is that it's secure. It is more secure than any other OS. I don't get it. I don't get it. Anyways, I found about 2 or 3 or 4 articles. I threw them all together. I want to read this to you just so you get a basis or an understanding of why Linux is being banned. And then when I get your thoughts about this, what do you think about this? If you are a Linux user, I definitely want to hear from you. But if you're not a Linux user and you see what's going on, I also want to hear from you because I want to know what you think. Is this something that should happen in 2025? We saw that there was a Zuckerberg Joe Rogan podcast not that long ago, and we listened to him lament about he was oppressed by the government and forced to do X, Y, and Z. I'll get into that before the end of this video. Anyways, before we get into it, I want to say that if you enjoy the content, throw it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like. Click this little button over here so when I go live or when a new video comes out, you'll be notified of it immediately. And if you haven't downloaded any of my ebooks yet, why not? They're free. Go to JCristina.com/books. Once again, JCristina.com/books. And if you want more Starlink content specifically, I have a Starlink playlist just for you. There's about 410, I think, videos. Helpful how-tos, tips, tricks, what to do, what not to do. The why behind all of it. It's all there. Check it out. Don't click on it yet. I'll put a link here. Don't click yet. But at the end of the video, go back to that. Click there and you'll be able to see a lot of good content. And finally, if you just want to say thank you for all of my hard work on this channel, there's a thank you button over there. Thank you, YouTube, for giving that to us. Click on that. Give $1 or $2 if you like. If not, it's perfectly fine. The video is still free. Consider becoming a member of the channel. That would be even better. So now that all of the promotion is done, let's jump right into this article. Once again, it's about 4 or 5 articles kind of summarized all together that I did. Code Silence, the Linux ban by Facebook. In a move that has sent shockwaves through the tech community, Facebook has branded Linux, a cornerstone of the digital world, as a, quote, cybersecurity threat. Implemented on January 19th, 2025, this policy has not only banned posts and links related to Linux, but has also restricted accounts daring to discuss the open source platform. The decision has ignited a firestorm of criticism, adding yet another chapter to Facebook's long and troubled history of censorship that has silenced voices across the spectrum. A policy of absurdity. According to DistroWatch, a leading source of Linux distribution news, quote, starting on January 19th, 2025, Facebook's internal policy makers decided that Linux is malware and labeled groups associated with Linux as being, quote, cybersecurity threats. Any posts mentioning DistroWatch and multiple groups associated with Linux and Linux discussions have either been shut down or had many of their posts removed. The paradox of calling Linux a threat. The irony is staggering. Linux powers an estimated 80% of Facebook's own server infrastructure, and the platform frequently advertises for Linux developers. Even more astonishing is that 70 to 80% of the entire internet uses Linux, running everything from web servers to supercomputers. Calling Linux a threat is akin to calling the internet itself a danger, a move that has left experts and users alike questioning Facebook's grasp on reality. A legacy of censorship, from breastfeeding to political speech. This latest controversy is not an isolated misstep, but part of a disturbing pattern of overreach and arbitrary censorship by the social media giant. Over the years, Facebook has repeatedly flexed its moderation muscles, often with bewildering and heavy-handed results. Breastfeeding photos of 2014. The platform faced global backlash after removing images of mothers breastfeeding, deeming them inappropriate. Public outcry and protests forced a policy reversal, but the incident left a bitter taste. COVID-19 discussions in 2020 and 2021. During the pandemic, Facebook aggressively censored posts questioning official narratives, including those discussing vaccine side effects or alternative treatments. While some posts were indeed misinformation, many legitimate discussions were swept up in the purge, stifling debate during a critical global crisis. Republican Party criticism 2020 to 2024. Conservative voices, including Republican lawmakers, have pointed out Facebook's bias, citing instances where conservative points of view were flagged or removed. The Linux ban, a step too far. The decision to target Linux, a system synonymous with innovation and freedom, has struck a nerve. DistroWatch, a primary target, has been blocked, with users unable to share its links without facing account restrictions. Meanwhile, Linux discussion groups have been dismantled, and even casual mentions of the operating system have triggered bans. But the broader implications are chilling. If Linux, the backbone of the internet, can be labeled as a threat, what's next? The move not only alienates a vast community of developers and tech enthusiasts, but also raises questions about Facebook's commitment to free expression and its understanding of technology it relies on. This is really important, and the reason being, and before I finish this, I just want to state that in the Joe Rogan podcast with Zuck over there, Zuck said a bunch of things, and I wrote these down real quick here. I just want to make mention of them because I think that they're important. During this conversation, he said, one of the things, he highlighted the immense institutional pressure Meta faced after events of 2020 election and during the Biden administration tenure, especially around the rollout of the COVID-19 vaccines. He said this, quote, "After 2020, the whole Trump election, the Biden administration coming in, there was just this massive institutional pressure to censor." He further acknowledged this, quote, "We've had to start censoring things that are actually true." What? He also recognized that there's a problem. There's a shift that needs to be made. He said, quote, "We are going to stop doing fact-checking programs. We're going to reduce mistakes, simplify our policies, and restore free expression on our platforms." He literally said that. Restore free expression on our platforms. And in this article, we hear that about restoring free speech and free expression. And this is complete nonsense because that is the exact opposite of what he's doing. He just talked about it on the podcast. And as we see here with the Linux community, it's not happening. Anyways, I digress. It finalizes with this: a platform in crisis. As of today, January 28, 2025, the Linux ban remains in effect with no signs of reversal. Critics argue that it's yet another example of Facebook's erratic and self-serving approach to content moderation, one that prioritizes control over community. Facts. The platform's historical censorship, from breastfeeding to COVID-19 and even political discourse, reveals a troubling trend, a company more concerned with appeasing power than empowering its users. Facts. In a world where Linux symbolizes the very essence of the internet's collaborative spirit, Facebook's latest move feels like the ultimate betrayal. We now stand at a critical juncture, pondering whether this is just a fleeting misstep or a grim omen of an even more oppressive digital era to come. For a platform balancing on the edge of public trust, this moment could determine its fate. Will it sink into the shadows of censorship, or will it rise to embrace the light of open discourse? I think that's funny. Open discourse. Let's just say open source. I like to end that better. So anyways, this to me is criminal. Okay? At this point, it's just simply criminal. I shouldn't say I can't believe it, because I do believe it. All right. I really thought that after hearing the Rogan podcast with Zuckerberg over there, that he was going to change. Things were going to change. There was going to be less censorship. There was going to be things more akin to what they have over there on X, with like a community type of area that decides on what's real and what's not, what's fact and what's fiction, this type of thing. The whole misinformation BS. Every time I hear misinformation, it just makes me cringe. It's like misinformation to who, right? Misinformation to who? What is real and what is not? It's like misinformation today ends up fact tomorrow. So how do you label as misinformation? There's no black and white. Everything is gray, right? It's all gradients. Sometimes it goes a little bit towards the black, sometimes a little bit towards the white, but it's still a gradient. There's nothing just hard, fast, this is fact. Things that we thought were fact, what I learned back in the 70s and 80s, is no longer fact. It's BS. But we learned it. We had to study it. We had to know it. As always, I digress. This is just horrible. I want to know what you think about all this. If you're a Linux guy or gal, put something down there. What do you think about this? Or maybe you use Mac OS over on a Apple system and you didn't know it, but Apple actually uses Linux. It's actually Unix, BSD, BSDI from way back, but it is a Unix derivative thereof with a really nice skin over it, but you don't realize it, okay? But it is that operating system. Why? Once again, it is highly secure. It is very reliable. It's been tested. All of the servers in the entire world, 80% of the internet runs on Linux or some type of Unix. Once again, some type of distro or distribution. This is the reason why they do not run on Windows servers. If Linux was a problem, don't you think that the entire internet would be running on Windows servers? They don't. Why? Because it's not stable. It's not reliable. It is definitely not secure. I mean, I could go on and on. It's not cost effective. It's definitely not highly customizable. Anyways, once again, if you are a Linux user or want to become a Linux user, or if you're an Apple user, or even if you're a Windows user, what do you think about this censorship? How is it possible that Facebook could not only label one of the largest sources, which is DistroWatch, as a cybersecurity threat, and then if you even discuss Linux now on Facebook, you're either shadow banned altogether, or it's just somehow censored? How did this even happen? I don't even know. Once again, what say you? I think you know how I feel. I'll be doing more coverage on Linux going forward. I don't really give a crap what Facebook thinks or doesn't think. I'll still post this video over on Facebook. If they allow it or not, I don't really care. I'm going to post it over there. Anyways, down below, I want to hear from you. If you enjoyed the content, throw it a thumbs up. Don't forget to like and share with your community and click this and do all that stuff. And finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools I've invented for you and me over the many years, and hopefully there's something there that you might like. Check out my shirts and my tees and my cups and my books and everything else. See if there's something there you like. Once again, JCristina.com. If there is, pick it up. Help support me and my family. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay connected, and stay Windows free. We'll see you in the next one. Love you all.